So, Igbo Girl Trailblazers really just means redefining what it means to be not just a black woman or Nigerian, but Igbo.
I always knew we were popping from birth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just nice to know the world now knows it. Nigerian person's like, okay, you want to do this? Show us your results.
Right, exactly.
So I'm like, mommy, daddy, here's my result.
I
Here's
love
my paycheck.
it.
People are making real life decisions looking at fabricated life. And I was at a point like trying to learn pidgin, trying to fake the funk. I'm like, I'm one of you.
How you
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, how you day? Girl, be yourself and be the best who you can be. I'm a content creator. Like, the internet is my bread and butter, but at the same time I want to promote that the internet needs to be healthy. I'm always like promoting like collaborate, work together, like make things happen together, partnerships. Like we get further as a team than trying to make a movement by ourselves. You need to be consistent. You need to really put in the work. You need to also have money to invest and you need to be passionate about it.
Ndewo Umu Igbo. We are here on Igbo Girl Trailblazers featuring the real Chi. Hey, darling. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we know you as Chi, but share with us what's your full Igbo name and what Igbo state are you hailing from?
Okay, my full Igbo name is Adogu, and I am from Anambra.
I love it. Okay. I'm sure we have a lot of Anambra people, so Igbo Kwenu or Anambra Kwenu. So share with me, what was your growing up story? Like, how many siblings do you have? Your family dynamic? I know you're based in New York, but just share with our audience like how that evolved till now.
Okay, so I am 1 out of 6.
Wow.
1 out of 6 siblings. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I've actually been to Anambra for the first time 2018 or 2017 in April. That was my first experience like in Anambra. I went to my mom's village, my dad's village. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Like a tight-knit family. I'm really close to my family. That's it. I'm like the dynamics of it, like how did I evolve into Chi? Because like I went through life as Chire, but then my teachers butchered that so much that I became Chi. But then a math teacher called me Chi Square. And then I was Chi Square for a while. Like my friends would call me like Chi Square. And then I went back to being Chi. By the time I turned I think like 2015, I became Chi.
I love it. Just be like, listen.
Oh, and at one point I was Chama. So the story of Chama,
Okay.
Chama and my assurance.
Yes.
My dad wanted to name me Chama, and my mama put Chire on the birth certificate. So he low-key has never forgiven her.
So what was your educational journey? Like, what exactly did you study in college, or what were you always interested in, maybe outside of fashion? And I know we're going to get into that later. But what was that?
So I studied accounting, business management, and communications.
Nice.
And I use almost none of it. What I do now, minus communications. Like, no, honestly, I'm joking. Business management and communication, what I use the most of, because I'm pretty much my own business. I'm a brand, and communication is really important in terms of communicating with companies, brands, like-minded individuals, colleagues, etc.
Yeah, I like that. So speaking of your brand, on Instagram, The Real Chi, people will see and be like, oh, she's just yet another lifestyle blogger or a fashion icon, but I know you for more than that. So share with us, what else are you involved with projects or things that you're passionate about, or what people may not know from your Instagram?
Okay, so I am passionate about women empowerment. I started my own NGO, non-for-profit, called The Crown Life in Lagos, Nigeria in 2017. I also am a beauty queen, so I have international and national pageant titles under my belt. Yes, under my belt.
I see.
I've done some TV hosting, television hosting, red carpets, and I'm really, obviously, I'm really big on the fashion thing.
Yeah. So speaking of fashion and just the things you've done in Nigeria, I noticed you recently had a brunch in Lagos in December, and I'm so mad I missed it, but it was amazing, and I was rooting for you from Abuja when I was there, but
so far.
Close. I literally left, but Bella and I Just partner with you to kind of share that platform, and tell me, how did you bridge that gap and leverage that space with them and just go for it, you know?
Okay, so I launched chillinwithchi.com July 1st, 2017. And that was just me creating content, being a fashion blogger. And as I grew involved, I made relationships with fashion bloggers based in New York that were Nigerian, though, like, you know, Nigerian diaspora in New York and other states as well. And I also have a relationship with influencers, fashion bloggers in Nigeria. So I was like, oh, this December, I think it's a great opportunity to merge the two, because I'm all about collaboration over competition. Yeah. It's like really important to me personally, because I'm like, as Nigerians, we are very competitive.
Very, very, very.
Super competitive.
If your A is a 91, my A is a 98. It's like, not the same.
Look at what your mates are doing, and this is what you're doing. You understand? We've all heard that from our parents.
Yeah.
So I'm always like promoting, like, collaborate, work together, like make things happen together, partnerships. Like, we get further as a team than trying to make a movement by ourselves. Yeah. So that was the whole point of the brunch, was to merge the Nigerian diaspora and people Nigerian, like the local Nigerians, and like just get to know each other, maybe connect, or etc. So that was the point of it. I emailed Bella Niger about it, Bella Niger Style about it, and they were like, cool, we love the idea, you know, so just let us know what you need help with. And that's how that birthed Chillin' with Chi brunch.
I love it. So, you know, I also saw that, you know, you did a snippet with the wedding channel. So share how that has, you know, you hosting things in Nigeria with an American accent and just a background that we have here. How did you really keep that door for yourself open? You know, we're all about breaking the glass ceiling and opening the doors for us women, but how did you do that in Nigeria? It's very male dominated. Anywhere else, Nigeria makes you know it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Well, first the door got opened to me through pageantry. So I went to Nigeria 2014 and did MBGN, which is like the biggest pageant system in Nigeria. And I went home with the crown.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. So during my reign is when I started working in television. And at my first, I had covered some red carpets, but my first actual like TV show was a fashion makeover show on the Spice TV. So from there, Ovation TV was like, oh, we saw you on Spice TV. Can you come work with Ovation TV? And then from there, the Wedding Channel Africa was like, oh, we saw you on Ovation TV. Can you come work for the Wedding Channel Africa? So that's how I became the host of the Wedding Police, which I think launched like a year or two ago. So the pageantry world is pretty much what opened the door for me in terms of TV work in Nigeria. And my accent, which I thought was going to be an obstacle that I needed to jump over, was actually an asset instead of a liability. Really? Because people were like, oh, we love the fact that she's American, and we love her accent. And I was at a point like trying to learn pidgin, trying to fake the funk. I'm like, I'm one of you.
How you
know what I mean? Like I'm like, how you day? You know, all these different things. I can't even think of a pidgin word right now.
How far, you know?
Yeah, it's like how far. Oh, Oga, you know, Chairman. Like I'm over here like trying to. But I was like, you know, actually just being myself is actually going to get me further.
So when did you feel like, in just from a little girl to now, when did it start like, listen, I'm going to do fashion and y'all can't stop me? Like, how did you present that to your parents? You know, African parents are like, fashion what? Like, you know, better stick to that accounting or better do the top 4, engineering, doctor, lawyer. But how did you really kind of forge a path for yourself with your parents or like those around you to make them believe in this vision?
I think they always knew what was up since I was small. Because like there's this photo of me. I was like, I think I might have been like 7, and I have like a little red shirt, and I had tied it up, and my belly's out, and I'm just like a whole like thing. And my sister always like when we see that photo, we laugh because she was like, "That's not how mommy sent you to school. You remixed your outfit, and then you came home. We're like, that's not how we sent you to school." Yeah. And I was a little girl. I was like, well, this is how I want to dress, and da 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 da. So like they knew like she's always been into like fashion and putting herself together. And I think when the pageantry thing popped up, it was just like, yeah, this is just definitely the world that she's gonna end up in. Yeah. And I thrive in it. You know what I mean? And I've shown them results. Nigerian parents like, okay, you want to do this? Show us your results.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm like, mommy, daddy, here's my results.
Here's
my paycheck.
So speaking of that, you know, I'm guessing you doing this full time, or are you also in corporate America? And you know, what does that look like? What's your average day to day for Chi?
Yeah, no, I am not in corporate America.
Okay.
For a second, I did believe I was going to be an accountant. Okay. My sister's actually an accountant for PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be just like my older sister, da da da. And she was like, no, you're not. She's like, no, you're not, because that's not you. Like that's not your personality. You're going to thrive in the fashion entertainment world. And she was right. So I do that full time, and I started the whole fashion thing when I was in school. So that was like a little balance for me being in school. But as you evolve as a content creator, you realize that you need time, you need energy, and you also need money, because there's an investment in yourself to be your own brand. And aside from doing that, the Crown Life that I work on like yearly in Nigeria also takes up time and planning. So Those two things.
I love it. I love it. So, with what you're doing in Nigeria, like, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? Do you feel like you're going to relocate back to Nigeria, or will you just be kind of one leg in, one leg out, which is not wrong, but, where do you see yourself and what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
In 5 years, I'm definitely going to be, like, not at the start, but maybe, like, halfway through the building of my empire. Because I definitely want to have a clothing line. I want to have, like, a beauty line. Like, I definitely want to have my own brands, and they're brands that people can recognize, relate with, and brands are also giving back, like being impactful in a way or somehow bettering the lives of women. And not only women, like, in America, but I also mean women in Nigeria as well. I want the Crown Life to be an experience that doesn't only happen in Nigeria, but in many places around the world. But my focus right now is women in Nigeria. And the reason why I focus on them is because I feel like they need it. You know what I mean? I feel like there was a narrative that is slowly dying, that, like, the successful woman is always backed by a man in Nigeria. So that's why I felt like, I should start something that preaches to women about women empowerment, interpersonal growth, career building. I remember Access Bank came and talked about, Access Bank is one of the biggest banks in Africa. So we talk about, like banking friendly for women, because women in, like, Nigeria, sometimes they just give their money to their husbands, and they don't really know, like, going to the bank, having a bank account, investments, different things. So we focus on, like, overall development of women, so that they ultimately give back to society on their own to be independent and successful women.
Yeah, I love that. So, Igbo Girl Trailblazers really just means, like, Igbo women, we are creating that narrative, and we're redefining what it means to be not just a Black woman, not a Nigerian, but Igbo. And we're not taking away from any tribe, but we're literally highlighting the effects of what we're doing in many industries, from fashion to film to media. And, with the rise of Ada and, Assurance and Shoma, we're singing it, they're singing it. I remember my Black friends, that are not necessarily Nigerian are singing it, and we're here for it. So how do you feel like that has, affected the culture in regards to women or guys, or just the vibe? Do you feel like it's giving us a good light, or is it just putting us in this, like, box or whatever?
No, I definitely think it's giving an amazing light. Yeah. Like, I always knew we were popping from birth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just nice to know the world now knows it. But no, like, I love it. I think it's great. Like, we're officially a trend. And I believe that, like, being Igbo, being Black women in general shouldn't be a trend. We should have been recognized and appreciated from day one. But we're here. Hello. And I'm not complaining. It has happened. And I'm happy about it. I love, like, all these songs about women, like, Igbo girls being, like, heartbreakers. I'm like, we don't break hearts.
We're Igbo angels. We
just roll them in chin dough. But nah. But yeah, so I think it's amazing. And I see a lot of Igbo girls, they have, like, a lot of confidence. Like, it's a confidence building. You know what I mean? So that's also great to see as well.
Right. I love it. So, with all things Igbo, we have to ask you, and Asu Igbo, can you speak Igbo?
I cannot speak Igbo. That is not my fault. Talk to my parents. I have nothing to do with that. I have absolutely nothing to do with that. I did not raise myself. Hey. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm screaming at you because of frustration. I did not raise myself. Okay? But no. But I do know a few words. A couple of words. Not a lot.
Okay. Let's hear it. You can't just say Kedu. Give me some more. Give me some.
Okay, I think Ketchifo. It means
okay.
Good night.
Ketchifo. Good night.
Yes. Emachanu, which everybody has heard. Your parents have told you to be quiet. So that's a few.
So even with that, that's an attempt, and I love that. That is your honesty. That's your truth. But do you feel like sometimes there's a culture shame with language learning in Nigeria, or those? I'm sure you go to African events, even in the States. Yeah. Do you feel like they look down on those who can't speak, or we're not Ibotic as those who are born and raised there?
Yeah, it's so funny because a lot of my Igbo friends that I met in Nigeria, well, let me not even say Igbo, let me not put you in my box. My Nigerian female friends that I have spoken to be like, oh, they can't speak their language. And they are born and raised in Nigeria and they still live there.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, so maybe it's, I thought that it was just like people in diaspora that couldn't speak their language. There are people that live there, born and raised, that cannot speak their language. But I feel like if there is a cultural shame, it's from the older generation who are like, oh, like, what's the point of being African if you can't speak African? But I feel like us as millennials,
it's not a language.
You know what I mean? No,
American
like,
is not a language.
I've heard like Nigerian guys say that. What's the point of being African if you can't speak African? Crazy. That's exactly what he said, and I was just like, uncle.
Wow.
But
shame.
My point is, like, to each his own. But I think that's the older generation, and I mean, if I know how to speak Igbo, I would definitely pass it down to my children, like, without doubt. But millennials, like younger generation, we don't really, you know what I mean? And I just feel like, I don't think I get a lot of pressure from Igbo people about not speaking Igbo, more from like the other tribes. Like, oh, you can't speak your language, and I'm like, Well, I do what I can.
Yeah, that's all
and
that
I've
matters.
gotten very far with what I can do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and it's so funny because sometimes you hear some people who have never even been to Nigeria. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
and that's great. I love that you can speak a language. Like, that's amazing. You know what I mean? But you've never been to Nigeria.
That's real.
Or you haven't gone back in like over a decade.
Yeah.
So let me live my truth.
And that's all that matters. Live in your truth. That's all that matters.
Thank you.
I love it. So, you know, with that living in your truth, a lot of people see social media and they're just like, oh my God, I want that. You know, I want the real Chi. Like, she's Nigerian. She's in the States. I can do it too. I want to quit my job and I want to do what she's doing.
Don't do that.
What would you say to the Igbo girl who is like, all right, let me just, you know, not go to work today and just blog or whatever. What's your advice to them?
First off, the turnover for blogging takes time.
Yeah.
You need to have like A1 content and you need to have patience because it's not an overnight thing. And I know it looks like so much fun, which it is, but it's not an overnight thing. I know some influencers who have been doing this for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They still work full-time jobs because they do not make enough money to support themselves if they were just content creators. They haven't seen like the results. And I'm extremely blessed and grateful that like I launched chillinwithchi.com July 1st, 2017, and I've worked with some amazing brands, big brands worldwide, and I'm just like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like it just happened for me, but it doesn't happen for everyone like that. So if you are gonna do it and you want to one day eventually reach a point where you can quit your full-time job, you need to be consistent. You need to really put in the work. You need to also have money to invest, and you need to be passionate about it. Because if you're just doing it for the likes and all that stuff, you're gonna eventually get bored.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's some influencers that you see online that aren't like, or people. Let me not say influencers. There are some content creators that you see online that, that are they're investing in. I don't know how to say it. They're invested in like likes and views and to give off this appearance that's not even real. So if you are looking up to people, make sure that whatever you're looking at is organic and genuine. And people have they have the history to show that, okay, I've been doing this for this long. Like, this is my numbers, this is my growth. Because you can be looking at someone who is literally spending $10 a month for all their likes. Like, you know what I mean? Crazy. So I'm telling you, like, because the internet is so dangerous, I always tell people be careful. Like, you know, like even me, I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, like, let me see an example. Even me, I don't pay rent. I live with my mom and dad. So that's not a bill that I have to pay for. So that makes it easier for me to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to do this instead of this. If you're going to make an important decision about whether to keep your 9 to 5, you need to base it on facts.
That's real.
And so that's my thing. Because people are making real life decisions looking at fabricated lives. So I'm a content creator. Like, the internet is my bread and butter, but at the same time, I want to promote that the internet needs to be healthy. It needs to be a healthy space. It needs to make sure that what you're taking in is healthy and genuine and real. Yeah. And a lot of people taking things that are not real and then try to compare it to their lives, and that creates like a depression. You know what I mean? Miscommunication, representation. So I'm always like preaching, like whatever it is that you're looking at, whoever it is that you're looking at, just make sure it's organic, it's real, and take it in dosage. Even me, I'm like, people DM me, oh my God, I love you, I want to be there. I'm like, girl,
do it better.
Yeah, I always say, be yourself and be the best you can be. I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy that way more than being me. Because you know, I'm a grumpy morning person. I'm not that nice in the morning. You know, people have their ups, their downs. So.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Well, thank you, Chi. It was a pleasure getting to know you more.
Thank you for having
Thank you for
me.
coming, and thank you for being an Igbo Girl Trailblazer. You are killing it in the industry.
Thank you for doing this. I think this is needed.
Absolutely. No, thank you. So have an amazing day.
Thank you. Same to you.